Congratulations, graduating class of 2021. We are so excited to welcome you to TWUSA's virtual graduation banquet. My name is Alex Johnson.
And my name is Liam Fowler.
And we will be your hosts for this event. Whether you are near or far, we want to celebrate your accomplishment of finally finishing your degree.
From the beginning of your university experience, you chose Trinity for a reason. Whether it's for the academics, the community, or a combination of both, or something completely different, you chose here to pursue your post-secondary education. And we hope that you've been encouraged by the growth and the knowledge that you were able to gain over the past few years. As you begin to move on to the next chapters of your life, we have a few of Trinity's best here to wish you well. But first, here is a message from your classmates.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
What's up, class of 2021? We made it.
Hello, class of 2021.
We did it.
Hey, class of 2021, we did it. It was weird and wild, but we did it.
Hi everyone, we did it. It's hard to believe it, but we made it.
Hi, Cole here, business grad of 2021. If I could describe my Trinity Western experience in a few words, I would probably say
unexpected, but purposeful.
In one word, my TWU experience was memorable.
My Trinity experience has been transformative,
thrilling, happiness, and caring.
Inspiring, joyful, challenging, and so fast.
It was really fun, very difficult, a lot of learning, and really expensive.
I would describe my Trinity experience as a memorable one where I grew not only professionally but also spiritually.
I made some incredible friends and grew in so many ways.
Lots of good memories here, having wonderful friends and teachers, experienced a lot of great love here.
I am definitely going to miss the classes and seeing my friends every day.
I'm going to miss this beautiful campus. I'm going to miss walks around the pond. I'm going to miss dance parties in the parking lot with my friends.
Stay in the lounge with your friends, doing homework all the way to midnight.
My best memory was being part of a banana challenge where my dorm nearly won.
My favorite memory at Trinity was my first year winning a championship with the men's hockey team. It was the first championship for Trinity in this league. Being a part of chapel teams, incredible experience.
I'm super grateful for the amazing professors, all the way from Professor Budner to Blair to all my amazing friends and pals and everyone I've met, honestly speaking, since I've been here at Trinity.
I want to say thank you to people such as Dr. Friesen, Dr. Durbach, and Dr. Siami, Dr. Mills, and many other members of the faculty that have had such an amazing impact on me.
I'd like to take a minute to thank everyone that works so hard to make Spartan Athletics what it is, including Jeff Gamache, Joanne Friesen, Carol Hofer, Julie Ratzlaff, our strength coach, Cole Hergott, and specifically thanks to the men's hockey coaches and staff.
So thankful for how the Lord worked in my life and placed me exactly where I needed to be, which was at Trinity for these last 5 years.
I want to thank God for being with me every step of the way in my university journey, and for my parents for their continuous love and support.
Thank my parents for sacrificing and leading me in this direction, as well as the leadership at Trinity for leading in this time.
To my fellow classmates, I just want to say that it has been so special to learn with you and learn from you in this season. You're all so incredibly talented and have inspired me through your stories and your creativity in more ways than you'll ever know, so thank you for that.
The class of 2021, I am so proud of you, and I know that sounds really cheesy, but being able to get through this year with a pandemic and, online school has been so rough, and being able to actually graduate after all of this, you should be so proud of what you've accomplished.
To our graduating class, I know this year looks very different than how I think any of us imagined it, including this day, but I just want to say that I'm proud of us for pushing through and just making our way to the very end, and I'm so excited to see what comes next for each one of us.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. We did it. Guys, we did it. COVID could not stop us, and I'm super happy for all of you. The sky's the limit, guys, and I know you got this. Just go kill it.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. wish you all the best wherever God takes you.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
You are all amazing, and congratulations.
Congratulations, class of 2021. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for all of y'all.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You did it. You got your degree. You got your ring by spring. You're basically set for life now.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Congratulations, class of 2021. Yes!
Happy
graduation! Congratulations, class of 2021.
We hope you were encouraged by the familiar faces of your fellow classmates. Now we're going to transition into some speeches from some influential members of the TWU community that you know and love. Our first speaker is a fellow student. She has a heart for advocating for others and seeking change in meaningful ways. Over the course of her time here at Trinity, she has provided service to our community as a resident assistant, an admissions counselor, TWUSA's humanities rep, and is currently this year's TWUSA president. Without further ado, we'd like to introduce Danny Lombardo.
To my fellow grads of 2021, I want to say congratulations for graduating from Trinity Western University. Your hard work and resilience does not go unnoticed. One of the biggest honors I've had so far is serving as president this year, which means I have the opportunity to give a little encouragement to us all. I won't pretend I know more than you do in life, but I do want to share some lessons learned and my perspective on them. Okay, so picture yourself 4 years ago coming to Trinity on O-Day. What was that experience for you? Did you feel excitement, anxiety, perhaps all of the above? You had no idea what these next 4 years would hold, who would be your friends, and how your classes would go. Something you might have not thought about is who you would become after these 4 years. Would you be the same person? I want to bet you're not. You're different. Trinity is just not any other university. Here, we get to be transformed inwardly. Yes, we do have papers, midterms, and assignments, but I think the value is not in these things themselves, but in what we learned about them, how we handle enormous amounts of stress, mistakes, and responsibility. Today, as we finish this important chapter in our lives, I want to invite you to question, in what ways have you grown? I know graduation can feel like leaving this safety net that has been with us for years. For some of us, Trinity has become our second home, and leaving it will be hard. The context we're entering is not any other context. We're going out into a broken world, reeling from a global pandemic, political upheaval, and oppression. Our generation can be filled with fear of making mistakes, not being enough, not doing enough. But what sets us apart is not the absence of fear, but the presence of hope. We are called to be faithful, to work for the good of the world and the glory of God. We are called to not lose hope, even in the most hopeless of situations. We are called to work towards reconciliation, persevere in suffering, and love God and others. The theme verse for our year in 2017 was "For such a time as this," and I think it could not be more fitting. This was especially the case in my life. Before I came to Trinity, the idea of university seemed more like a hope than an actual goal. In that year, my mom had lost her job, which made things hard because she was a single mom. My family had a huge fallout, which resulted in hurt and isolation. In that same year, I was diagnosed with a chronic illness. I came out of my senior year burned out, heartbroken, and hopeless. Taking a gap year was my only choice at that point. I was left in a stage of nihilism and hopelessness, not seeing the point in life. It was during this time that my mom did not let me lose hope, even if our circumstances seem hopeless. Dear grad, I don't know what stage you're in right now. Perhaps you feel happy and excited to be done at Trinity, but perhaps you feel burnt out from COVID, fearful of what's to come, or even hopeless about the future. I want to give you the same advice and encouragement my mom gave gave me at the hardest point in my life. Be brave enough to hope in God. Let Him carry you to your next stage. He who was faithful in the past will be faithful in the future. Letting yourself hope makes life bearable, even if it seems harder. When you feel you have nothing, hope keeps you going. And as our Good Foundations 201 course taught us, he who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. For me, our theme verse highlighted how God had interwoven in my life these hard moments for such a time as this. You were made for such a time as this. Your life, your challenges, who you are, your gifts, your flaws can all be used by God. Because our hope is not in the measure of control that we have over our circumstances, but our closeness to the one who controls it all. In fact, we have very little control over life, but we always have the choice of hope. I think that is what Esther's story shows us, the values of faithfulness and hope. If you think about it, she had the choice between safety and faithfulness. Queen Esther was asked to intervene on behalf of the Jews to the king. However, this would be dangerous, since the king did not even know she was Jewish. And in that time, people were forbidden to enter the king's court without being invited. And failure to do so would result in death. However, she was torn between this decision of what was best for her and what was best for her people. Her uncle Mordecai reminds her that who she is and where she's arrived is not a product of her efforts, but of God's grace. And that perhaps God placing her into that situation was for a larger reason than her. That reason being liberating the Jews from oppression and persecution. Had Esther put her hope in the character of the king, there wouldn't be much chance of success. But her hope, ultimately, was in God. Dear graduate, God gave you the gift of higher education. He placed you in a beautiful Christian university for a reason. He gave you the intellect, the friends, the community, the resilience, and the character to finish your studies. More than that, He has prepared you to enter into a broken world. Yes, COVID has changed and continues to change and disorder our lives. But I believe God has created you for such a time as this. You were placed where you are for a reason. Therefore, place your hope in Him. Trust that God, who started the good work in you, will see it come to fruition. It has been a huge joy and adventure being your president this year. Thank you for being my community, friends, and family these 4 years. And with that, I just have 2 more words to say. Danny out.
Thank you so much, Danny, for your thoughtful words. Now the next speaker we're going to hear from is a TW alumni who began working at Trinity back in 2018. Before working at Trinity, he co-founded Wellspring in Rwanda, an organization that empowers youth in Africa through education. This man has a heart for developing extraordinary leaders and establishing institutions that transform lives. We'd like to introduce to you the Vice President of Student Life, Richard Taylor.
Congratulations, class of 2021. It's a privilege to be with you today. And I want to just congratulate you. After a few more weeks of blood, sweat, and tears, you're going to graduate from Trinity Western University. We're so proud of you. If you're like me, you're all dressed up with nowhere to go. Many of you entered Trinity Western during uncertain times when the university faced a Supreme Court challenge. And you may remember our theme verse at that time was from Esther, for such a time as this. Now you're graduating, and you're graduating during even more uncertain times. We're a year into a global pandemic, and this has made the final stage of your undergraduate journey look far different than you would have ever imagined. But you've approached this year with courage, and again, you're to be congratulated. Some may think that there's never been a worse time to graduate from university. After all, your generation faces a society in increasing disintegration. There's blurred lines between what's true and what's mere feeling, what's fact and what's fiction, what's sacred and what's profane, real and virtual. How do you navigate all of this? Your generation faces increasing dystopia and lack of hope. There's economic challenges, environmental issues, a mental health crisis, political divisions, and issues around racial injustice. And you also face increasing distraction as you engage in a technological age where everything is at your fingertips. How do you find wisdom? How do you make sure that you're focused on the right things and answering the right questions? Maybe it is a difficult time to graduate from university, but perhaps it's never been a better time because God has prepared you here at Trinity Western for such a time as this. It somewhat depends on your perspective and how you view the education that you've received here. I'll try and explain. G.K. Chesterton once said, "Education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another." Unfortunately, few view a university education this way today. Most of us absolutely recognize the importance of our education, otherwise we wouldn't have invested so much time, money, and energy into it. But the soul of a society? So how do we normally talk about a university education? Often we see it as a passport to privilege. From this perspective, education is important for individual advancement based on standards set by our materialistic world. It's a means to an end. It's a platform to secure our own dreams. It's a golden ticket to escape difficult circumstances. It's a way to achieve self-actualization. This approach is primarily focused on what education can do for me. But I want to propose an alternative for you to think about. I want to encourage you to see your education as a gift, as a sacred responsibility for service. This idea was inspired by a British economist named E.F. Schumacher, who once asked, "Is education to be a passport to privilege, or is it something which people take upon themselves as a monastic vow, a sacred obligation to serve the people?" In the 1960s, Schumacher looked at the society around him, and he was disillusioned by the level of consumption and greed, the commitment to personal advancement at the expense of others. He mourned the loss of community and the personal responsibility that should be tied to receiving an education. This sounds all too familiar. Schumacher asked, why do we seek to be educated? To what end? How would it change things if you viewed your education from Trinity Western not simply as a passport to privilege, as important as it is to get a job, but as a sacred responsibility for service? What if you saw everything you have, including your education, as a gift that you have received from God? Would you approach it differently? What if you used that gift not primarily to advance yourself, but for the good of the world and the glory of God? Would you make different choices? This is, after all, the way of Jesus, so wonderfully described in Philippians 2, 5-6. Your attitude should be the same as that of Christ Jesus, who being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but he made himself nothing, taking on the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. Would viewing your education as a sacred responsibility for service enable you to think more truthfully in a disintegrated world, enable you to act more justly in a dystopian world, enable you to live more faithfully in a distracted world? I'm trying to picture some of you as I'm speaking to you via video who I've had the distinct privilege to know these past few years. You have had so much courage, and many of you have started to view your education this way. As you graduate, as you look at the future, I know there's some very distinct challenges and opportunities that you face, but be encouraged that we serve a God who never changes. He has called you, and he has equipped you for the journey beyond Trinity Western. That's good news. Wonder if you would allow me to finish this by praying for you from a Franciscan benediction. Maybe if you could take this on as the monastic vow that Schumacher was talking about, as your sacred responsibility for service. May God bless you with this comfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so you may live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless you with tears to shed for those who suffer pain, rejection, hunger, and war, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and turn their pain into joy. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in the world so that you can do whatever needs to be done. I leave you with these words, and I want to also leave you with a commendation. There are so many people here who have had the privilege of walking this journey at Trinity Western who are cheering for you as you go on to this next phase of life. We're praying for you, we believe in you, and we know that you can take this next step. Congratulations.
Thank you for your continuous wisdom, Richard. Our final speech is coming from someone who has worked at TWU for over 25 years. At the start of our time at Trinity, we knew him as the chaplain and director of student ministries. Now he's the Associate Vice President of TWU and the Director of TWU's Center for Spiritual Formation in Higher Education. To know him is to love him. Introducing Rob Ray.
Well, congratulations, everyone. I want to add my heartiest congratulations to your achievement. This is no small undertaking, getting a university degree, and I'm so proud of all the work that you've done and this milestone. I can remember back when I graduated from Texas Tech with my undergraduate degree. I can still remember the final exam that I wrote. That was the last one. I can still remember the commencement message, if you can believe that. And it was a great day, and I know it'll be a great day for you as well. Recently, I was reading some statistics about people that graduate from university versus those who choose not to, and you really have done yourself a big favor. If you were to look over the course of your life, someone that goes to university will typically be happier. They're more likely to get married. Hopefully that's connected to being happy. They'll earn more over the course of their life, which you would expect. And believe it or not, you'll even live longer if you have a university degree versus if you don't. So there are a lot of boxes that got checked with you getting a university degree. So again, I'm so glad that you put the work into that. Now I know that you'll be heading out into lots of great jobs and callings, maybe as an entrepreneur, maybe as a nurse or an educator or wherever you may find yourself. But for the next few minutes, I want you to think of yourself as a gardener. All right, a gardener. So I know for some people that's really easy, that's something you enjoy doing already, but for other people it may be a big stretch. But I want you to think about the places that you're going to move into. Maybe it's a professional context, maybe it's family context, maybe you have your own family or your family of origin, circle of friends, maybe a church community, whatever that may be. I want you to think about those places as gardens that God is uniquely bringing you into to tend and to grow and to water and to weed. There are so many places that I think the Bible talks about us being a part of His work in this world. And to me, that's where this garden analogy really comes to life, is that you and I, as we work in these places that God places us, that we join God's ongoing work. There's a great quote from Alistair McIntyre that says that I don't really know what my own story is until I know how my story connects to God's story. And to me, I love that because it shows that my life gains significance as I join the ongoing work of God. And these gardens and these places that God places you provide those contexts for you to be a part of that with your time, with your money as you begin to earn more money and have more influence, that all of these can connect to this larger picture. So to me, this is a great picture of something I read from Martin Luther recently. He was talking about how our work contributes to this work of God like we're talking about, and he connects it to Psalm 145 verse 8, which says, "The Lord is good to all, and His mercies are for all throughout the world." He takes that verse and says that the way God meets the needs of the world and cares for all the people of the world is that as His people work to provide a safe place through being through law enforcement or through being farmers or providing food or through teachers providing education, that it's through those people that He provides for the needs of the world. So to me, that is a great calling. That is, your life will have meaning as you join this larger work of God and as you meet the needs of the people in the world through using your gifts and resources. So I want to conclude with a verse that God really spoke to me through as we started this year, and I thought of all the things that this year was going to ask and the challenges, and it is 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8. And it says, God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good endeavor. So God will make His grace, the grace of God, abound to you in everything at all times, and you will need nothing in order to do what God is calling you to do. So may God bless you and guide you and strengthen you for what's ahead. It has been so good to be with you for these years, and I'm looking forward to the years ahead.
Thank you so much for your words, Rob. We hope that the wisdom and insight from all three speech givers have brought you encouragement. Your time here at Trinity has been full of so many memories. Through classic events like Banana Challenge, Fort Week, Hootenanny, you've met wonderful friends and had so many laughs. And these memories you've made are some that you'll carry with you throughout the rest of your life. And as a way to commemorate these memories, Pillar Yearbook has created a video highlighting these special moments over the past few years. Watch with us as we take a walk down memory lane.
What an incredible university experience we've had. Thank you for celebrating with us as we prepare for the final weeks of our university career. Remember to tune in to the 2021 graduation ceremonies on May 1st at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Congratulations, class of 2021. We wish you the best, and your achievement is to be commended.